Hey y'all, I'm back for another review of Growing Up Hip Hop. Please be sure to like and subscribe as I try to grow my channel. And thank you to all of you. And I really appreciate every view, every subscribe to all of you who have done that. All right, so Growing Up Hip Hop, Season 7, Episode 4, Tuck and Roll. Okay, so we get this opening scene with Sean and Twist. I didn't know Sean and Twist rock like that. Twist and Sean. Y'all giving me, I'm begging for screen time. That's what y'all giving. But okay, because I didn't know y'all rock like that. But all right. And it wasn't giving like, oh, y'all have been friends all along. We just hadn't seen it. Miss me. All right. So he's going to get his quote unquote hair did. He said he doesn't want a Tyra Banks headline or forehead line. That annoyed me. And that annoyed me. And it annoys me anytime when a white man criticizes a black woman's looks. But okay, Sean, because she's a fucking supermodel and a goddamn legend. Now, honestly, if some black person on this cast would have said that, I probably would have let it slide because it doesn't come from the same place. But okay. Anyway, and no amount of plastic surgery is going to stop your fast aging. It just won't. It won't, it won't, it won't. And you've had too many examples to come before you, and it's just not what y'all get. Y'all get so many privileges in society just on the basis of being white. That's just not one you get. You'll be all right. So Twist goes up for the black doctor when he comes and says, yo, I had no idea you were black. And he kind of looked like, but that was cute. He was like, yo, we in here. But they go to the plastic surgeon in LA, and he said he's trying to look like Brad Pitt or Jamie Foxx. Clearly people who have had issues with their hairline but have kept it covered up. Jamie Foxx especially. Anyway, so then we get Denise and Vanessa meeting up. All right, sister-in-law to sister-in-law. All right, so Denise is asking, I'm back in LA. I love LA. What have I been missing? I hate LA, but I'm not going to start. All right, so Denise is asking Vanessa. She was like, because Vanessa was like, oh, well, I have something going on. She was like, are you having another baby? And she was like, why do people keep asking me that? And I have the same question, Denise. Because after she admitted on TV that she had a miscarriage, I think like 1 or 2 seasons ago, why would you even ask her that on camera? Even if she wants to have another one, why would you ask that? And then this bitch literally had the nerve to follow it up and say, well, if it's not a baby, what else is there? Your goals in life are just not where it's at as far as I'm concerned. Not that having a baby, I'm sure, is wonderful for those who want one. Okay. Anyway, so Vanessa's going to get a procedure for the parts of her body she wants to fix. She says she's in the public eye and she's an actress, and so she nitpicks. And we've seen her do this for seasons now. Denise was like, well, I had lipo before. She was like, you need to think about blood clots and how you need to regularly massage your lumps and follow the directions, or your procedure will come out completely different. And she was like, there's a lot of things that I didn't know before I actually had it. And I could tell Denise had lipo or some kind of tummy tuck a couple of seasons ago, because I remember looking at her and how flat her stomach was, because she was like wearing like a midriff. And I remember thinking like, wow, how did she do that? Because she still had like wide hips, and not like in a bad way. I'm just saying she was, she's curvy. But her face was still a little chunky. And trust me, I know what it is. I'm not criticizing her for the sake of criticizing her. I know what it is to be overweight and to struggle with your weight. So that's not the point I'm making. But I remember saying, gosh, how did she manage to do that? And I was like, oh, she probably had the fat sucked out. Because you could tell when somebody really is losing weight because the weight in their face decreases. And yeah. Anyway. But one of the things I was thinking as I watched it, I just know how hard it is to lose weight. And there are so many hard things that black women have to think about and deal with. And high stress levels just on a regular basis slow your cortisol levels, which leads to slower metabolism. So it's really like, what's at the root of it? I mean, we're judged by a standard of white beauty, which by and large we'll never be able to meet because we're not white. And I think, personally, I think Vanessa looks great. I think she is so beautiful, and she doesn't look like she's even close to 40. Okay, but LA, without a doubt, is one of the worst places for black people. I've said that before, and I'll say it again. I spent 5 years there working on my PhD, got it, and got the fuck out and moved to New York. That's the advice I'm gonna give you, Vanessa. Okay, move somewhere else. Um, but all that time when I was in graduate school, I never felt affirmed as a black woman, and it's not like I didn't go to other parts of LA. It wasn't like I was just sitting at UCLA. Like, it's just something about it. I don't know. Anyway, so Bree is performing, and Sequoia stays looking like a pick me bitch. Like, even though she's like sponsoring this so-called event, which I'm sorry, I didn't catch the name, whatever the fuck this was for, whatever fundraiser or whatever it was. I call her pick me because she clearly invited Bree to perform because she wanted a scene on this show. Okay? And and Sequoia, you gonna get it. Cause I chick, I am so over you. So when Sequoia said that she feels like Brianna is a natural performer and she tells her that, it became even more clear to me how much Sequoia does not have an eye for talent. And that eye certainly is not one that she can even use on herself, because I think she needs to really go and find a skill like nursing. No, because that would involve skills and dealing with people. Um, I don't know. Anyway, I was gonna say teaching, but you gotta have patience, and she ain't got that. All right, so I do think when Bree is focused, she has a particular sound that can bring an audience. Like there's this particular genre that I think a lot of people would go up for. So even some of like the younger, like millennials, Gen Zs, that like Erica Badu and the Angie Stones and the Janelle Monáe, that kind of group. Not saying that she sounds like that, but that group I think would be drawn to her. But at that performance, that went in. And when she gave Brie that compliment, not only is she a pick me, but her career or lack thereof started to make a lot of sense to me. Anyway, so Brie got her together because she starts another motherfucking scene talking about her mom. And Brie got her together and said that it was none of anybody's business where she puts her pussy. That's not your business. And Sequoia was like, I hear you, but I'm not trying to hear you. And Brianna started laughing. She was like, I can respect it. So Bree said, make sure when your mom is around, you need to always take the high road and show respect because that is your mom. And that bitch is gangster. She said, and don't go back until I called her a bitch. But she was making a point. She was like, anytime I've called her for advice, she's been willing to do that. Like, she's been there for me. And I just think maybe come up off of it. Sequoia, you are not simply talking about your mom in every scene. You're not, we already know you're not talking to her, but you're not even simply talking about her. You are talking shit about your mom, and I just want you to grow the fuck up and get the fuck up over this bullshit. Okay, this shit is getting old. It's tired. And as a member of the viewing audience, I don't like you on this show or on my screen. Okay? Okay. So Vanessa meets up with Denise again. And they cutting a pineapple, talking about it's gonna help with the swelling. She already had like the laser procedure or something. And Denise was like, "Oh, you're swole or whatever." She was like, "Yeah." She was like, "But you still look tiny." Vanessa. Yeah, I'm gonna try. Vanessa, you are very beautiful. Like one of those inarguably beautiful people. And people have been saying that about you since you were on Run's house. It has never been up for debate. Girl, move to New York. Your life will be better. That's what I did. And my last name ain't Simmons, okay? Look, girl, just go on. All right, so JoJo and Cree show up. Well, JoJo lives there, but there's Denise's house. Cree shows up. And JoJo gave Cree the best fucking advice I've seen on reality TV in a long motherfucking while. And he said when Cree was over there, like basically talking shit, because he tried to ignore all the gossip. And they pulled him in, and they're talking about Brianna being on live. I was like, was it just that one fucking live? Brianna's always talking on the side of her neck, but whatever. I'm not saying that this means Cree has to take it, but just like, fuck it. Just let her talk about you. Don't talk about her. The audience will do your work. Anyway, and so JoJo says, look, Cree Don't feed into it. That's what Brianna does. Brianna talk about people. That doesn't surprise me. He was like, this is her game. She does this. You're not going to win. You can't beat her at her game. Yes. Yes. And quite frankly, she's been on the show for 7 fucking seasons. And whether I have always liked her or not, and I don't always like her, I have learned to kind of just laugh at some of her behavior. But I can tell you, she is a lot more entertaining to watch, which means she won't be losing her contract. Okay? Okay. So she brings up Sequoia's skate party. He brings up Sequoia's skate party, I mean. And Cree is trying to figure out whether or not she should go to the skate party. Bitch, you know you going because you want to collect a check. All right, and Bree will be there. Then Denise gives her some tired ass, stupid advice. It says if you go, just stay away from her and enjoy yourself. You know how this reality TV game goes. You cannot do your own thing at a small party. It's going to be about 10 of y'all at most. How you just going to avoid somebody and then enjoy yourself? You know how much work it takes to avoid somebody in a small gathering like that? That's not enjoyable. Like, I don't know how these people live their lives. Anyway, Tiny and lazy. So he brings her flowers or whatever, and she starts telling him about the fight she had with her daughter Sequoia. And he kind of stands back for a second and asks, like, well, is she mad about us or the fact that you didn't tell her about us? And she said, well, a little bit of both, but I think more because I didn't tell her. She said she was shocked by the things she said. She told her she doesn't want me with a rapper. And that shit was so weak. That shit was so weak. And the way Lazy looked was kind of like, I done seen her in the studio with plenty of people that could have been called. And I'm not saying that's true. I'm just saying that was the kind of look he gave. Kind of like, does she really want to go there? Tiny admits she feels better since she let it off her chest. But I feel bad for Tiny. I mean, like, we can say, like, I mean, he can tell her, you know, all that matters is your happiness. But I don't think there's any mother that can truly be happy if their kid is that dissatisfied with a relationship that makes them unhappy. And I think, Sequoia, you're full of shit. Because you keep being in these scenes talking shit about your mother, and the reasons why you're mad seem to change. Not increase, but change. So I'm going to need you to grow up. And they talk about, you know, how they met in 1996 when he was doing the most. And he was like, you know, he's talking about she don't want to with a rapper. I'm an old rapper now. I done slow down. She was like, yeah, because I wasn't going to deal with that shit. Anyway, so Sean and TT go to look at a home. Okay? She wants LA to be their home base. Haven't we been through this with them two before? All right, so she says she thinks it's the back and forth from to LA from Jamaica, and it's tainting the way he sees LA. Or maybe Sean just has a little bit more fucking sense than I thought and hates fucking LA. Okay? Anyway, so Sean was like, it's clear. I said, they look at this house. It has like 5 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms. And, you know, it looks like kind of modern on the inside. And he was like, I know TT wants a house, but there's another house 2 feet over here to the left, 2 feet over here to the right. Like, this doesn't have the kind of space, and it doesn't look like a good place for a toddler either, especially with a pool like that. You gotta be careful. He was like, I can see where they did basic renovations and some stucco. And the realtor got the nerve to say, well, in LA, you pay for location, location, location. It's in West Hollywood. Okay? I lived in LA. All right, and that's one of the most affordable places to go and live within the city limits. Now, affordable, relative in LA. But I was a graduate student. I didn't have the kind of job I have now. Okay, and I'm just telling you. So miss me with the bullshit. No, you pay for the facade in LA. That whole fucking city is like that. It's disgusting. Anyway, and I don't know how this is just a side note. I don't know how this country expects to sell houses when the pay for people in this country is stagnant. The majority of us. Student loans have ballooned to the point where it's ridiculous. People stay in perpetual debt because they're not paid regular wages and then have ridiculously high prices to have to pay for a home or for rent, which makes it hard to save for a home. The more depressed the economy, greedy people on Wall Street drive up the prices to make up for the money that they are losing from the people they expected to buy homes, but that On the lower level, like that's not corporate, they don't pay those same people living wages. How the fuck do you expect people to be able to buy these houses that y'all keep building? You do realize at some point, constructively evicting people, in the words of Andrew Cuomo, will come back to haunt you. Because you actually need people to buy homes for you to make a profit. The fuck out of here. Now, the short term issue, though, however, is TT for you to find a more affordable city and space to live in with your family, with good schools and a nice neighborhood for your son. Take it easy. You ain't got to live in LA. Shit, maybe you should see, if you didn't hate what's his name so much, maybe you could go live with Idris backyard, but y'all not getting along. Or just go to Atlanta and fake the funk for a little bit cheaper. All right? Okay. So Sequoia has a skate party. And she was like, that's the thing in LA. I'm an LA girl. I was like, oh, that's new to me. I don't remember that aspect. But then again, I was out there for different reasons. Okay, so Sequoia, this was clearly a party for the sake of a scene. And granted, everybody on this show does it, but I don't like you. So it just keeps accumulating. It's snowballing for you. All right, so Twist shows up with big ass sunglasses on his face, walks into a dark ass, well, like, a dimly lit skating ring, because that's how skating rings are. And talking about it's dark in here. I was like, Ninja, I just want you to stop smoking so your brain cells can just align for just a day or two. Just a day or two. Or 10. Okay? So anyway, she was talking to Twist. She was like, well, you know how easy I'll give it up for you, this, that, and the other. I'm like, he said, I think she wants me, and I kind of want her, but it's a weekend want, not a week want. It's a Saturday want, and I'm not tripping. Basically, bitch, you're the kind of person he looks at and says, I'll fuck, but I never want to be in a relationship with. And I found this really mind blowing. Sequoia, I thought you didn't want your mom with the rapper because of the way they move. To Lazy's point, he's an old rapper and he's slowed down. Twist has run through women all on this show, and that's just what we see. And you up here practically sticking your ass out for him, and you somebody's mama. Girl, bye. Girl, bye. As you try to pass judgment on your own mother, okay? So Cree comes to the skate party, apparently the intention of ignoring Brianna to draw attention to herself. And then proceeds to ask Sequoia about what's going on with her and her mother. Cree, it wasn't too long ago y'all was fighting at the pool. Cree, y'all aren't friends like that. If anything, y'all are co-workers and castmates. Okay? All right. Let's begin there. Cree then goes on, without prompting, as far as we can see, and says she understands why she may feel, ask her basically about the thing that happened at the party. Well, I understand how you feel, and I know what it is to have your business in a public eye, because I feel like I understand you, because my father grew up in a public eye. And I was like, yeah, but you didn't. You talked about how your relationship with your father was so distant. And I'm not saying that like as a read on the relationship with her father, but I am saying that because of that, perhaps you didn't grow up as far in the limelight as other people, but okay. Then this bitch says, and I remember seeing them on Celebrity Rehab. And that was where I got off. She was like, your mom has to be loved, and maybe you have to think about it as a woman, would I want to be loved like that? Ma'am, how in the fuck are you going to start a personal conversation with somebody about their business? And this is the kind of chick who would be the first one talking about, people don't know me from a reality show. They don't know my life. Trust me, she that type. Cree, you're not likable at this point. And I'm sorry, I was with Sequoia. She was like, you think you know my family from a show? The fact, once she said, I saw them on Celebrity Rehab, a VH1 reality TV show, it was clear to me that everything you were giving was fan. I've watched a lot of reality TV, and I think I know people because of it. And that shit is tired. That is not the motherfucking move. That shit was whack. A side note, Cree, that outfit was not flattering, But your hair and makeup was everything. You did that shit. That shit was perfect. That hair was absolutely swooped at the right places. It was flowing, and your makeup looked impeccable. I am so sorry you stole that moment from yourself over this fuck shit that I got to agree with fucking Sequoia. Ain't that about a bitch? Cree, you're not likable at this point. I don't know if you're playing a role to keep scenes on this show, but I don't see this being a long term good look for you. And you're a little too young in your life to not take that into consideration because we still ain't seen you with these businesses you claim you have. All right, anyway. And why is it that on these reality shows do they insist on making people talk when they don't like each other? Like, why? Why can't you go fuck you and they say, hey, fuck me, and we leave each other alone? But no, y'all keep coming with the bullshit. So was it me? I'm not trying to be judgy, but and people should do what makes them feel good. But the way the women were dressed, I found very tacky and scantily clad and not chic, sexy, just sloppy, hoey. Like, if I'm being honest, like Sequoia, Aaliyah, and Creed. Like, and miss me with the bullshit about they're skating so they need space. We not talking about like stretch yoga pants and all that kind of shit. Like the stuff they were in, there's no way that shit was comfortable while you were skating. Because I know your thighs had to be rubbing together while you were skating. That's not comfortable. Like that shit was just tacky. But okay. Then we get Bree versus Cree. So Bree said, "Look, what is the problem? I know we got a problem. What's the problem? All right." And she said, "The only thing you need," and this is Bree talking, to have peace with me was to introduce yourself to her accordingly." And then Cree basically was like, "Well, I did at one point, whatever." And they end the conversation, and Cree just grabs her purse and like is gonna walk away. It was like, "I may have my knife on me." And Bree looks like, "Oh, okay." Now I do believe Bree will try to fight her. However, need I remind you? And now Bree did say a couple times in them confessionals, she's big. She's big. I know she can throw me. I'm not really sure what that was about. Like, Cree's a thick girl, okay. Brianna, so are you. But Cree is a thick girl and is in shape. So I don't know that that's the kind of read you want. But now, if you would have said, you know what, I ain't trying to get in no more fights. Because the last time there was a 19-year-old girl I was talking shit to about her man, and she whooped my motherfucking ass at a party, and I wasn't ready. And then I said she snuck me, and her name was Egypt Chris. Okay? It's the quiet ones, the ones you're not expecting. But anyway, so Sequoia is talking to Twist about her mother again. Talking about her mother, not to her mother, and talking about her mother like she's somebody off the goddamn street. Sequoia, you need your ass whooped. You need your ass kicked bad. Because you are out of order, ma'am. You are all the fucking way out of order. And you keep telling this story to everybody about what went down with you and your mother kind of at this party and kind of when y'all fell out outside when you was yelling at your mother and all this other bullshit. And you up here giving a version of the story that we ain't see. You a liar too. And I don't like bitches like this. I don't. So she's talking to Twist, and she was like, "I don't want my mama with no rapper. I know the way they move." And he checks her on it. He was like, "Well, you like me, and I'm a rapper." Like, that's what I mean by her reasons keep fluctuating and changing, all this other shit. And she then starts calling him cute and flirting with him. And then they show her in the confessional. She was like, "I'm not flirting with him. He's flirting with me." Sequoia, you are just throwing your coochie at him, and it's not a good look. But it's not a good look with somebody like Twist, one who I just don't find worthy of such. I don't think it's a nice look as a lady. And I also think as you continue to be so vocal and critical of your mother, it's giving real spoiled brat. I'm in a state of arrested development and you are acting like a 12-year-old child. And a hood 12-year-old. That's why you cursing and acting all kind of crazy towards your mother. All right. Girl, bye. Just bye. Then Eric's bitch ass, messy ass, female gossipy ass invited Lazy to the skate party. Okay, now Sequoia, and yet two back-to-back scenes again at your own fucking party. You're still talking about your mom like a motherfucking dog. Sequoia, you are coming off as a spoiled ass child who doesn't even understand her own emotions. So it's concerning to me that you're supposed to be raising a son and this is how you conduct yourself. So Lazy, like if we're being honest, facts, Lazy, if you and her mom break up, business will be difficult. People can say, oh, you separate the personal from business. I don't know how people manage to do that. And that's something you hear in Hollywood and the music industry, and that's because they always got all kinds of goings-ons. But anyway, like the bottom line is, it will be difficult to do music. Let's be honest. Sequoia, when did your father tell you that he was in limbo and wanted to be with your mother? Because it's hard for me to believe the cameras wouldn't have caught that and shown it on TV just to be messy. That's something you made up. And I can guarantee you, your father has made his rounds with other women. And you know it too. And your mother's been heartbroken by it. And the level of selfishness, I don't know if this is for TV or whatever it is, but at the point in which you're willing to sell out your mother, bitch, there's nothing you could ever do for me. You couldn't hand me a bottle of water. When I am fucking dehydrated and about to die, you couldn't let me borrow nothing, a cup of sugar. You couldn't, because I don't trust shit that comes out of your mouth. Okay? Now, so yeah. So Lazy is talking about how he made babies to her dad's music. What kind of ghetto, nasty, retarded, backwoods, trailer park bullshit is that to say to somebody's daughter? That was the blind leading the blind, having a conversation. Okay? And you up here talking about, so we family, right? We family. So if we family, I'm not going to tell you nothing that ain't, like 100% right. That's true in some families. That's true in some parts of your family. But nobody hates like family, in the words of Paul Mooney. Okay? And not only that, if y'all family, then isn't dating family incest? Okay. And Sequoia, you're a hoe. You're a hoe. You're a hoe ass bitch. And you are not trying to protect your mom. I can tell you're not trying to protect your mom by the way you're talking about her to other people about y'all's business. That's not a relationship you value. This is just something that gives you attention. Girl, you got some issues. All right, let's call Dr. Ish. Put her on a show with some other 15 Seconds of Fame people so we don't have to see her no more, WeTV. I'm done. Y'all have a good night. And I will talk to y'all soon. Be sure to like and subscribe. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.